almost done with this retie. We almost done. But, so I was doing it, and then I just realized, like, sometimes you can't tell which direction you ended last. Like, this one you can clearly tell that it's going, you know, top to bottom. And since I only do 2 rotations, I do left to right and I do up to down. Up to down. So this is what I normally do. I normally feel for it. It showed me that I ended top to bottom. So I just go in left to right. Okay. Oh, I was going down. Okay, and I just do my normal 2-point rotation. Do one more. And sometimes when you have a lock that is thicker at the bottom, you have to put a little oomph into it, like this one. This one is definitely thicker than majority of my locks, so when I pull it through, since the hole is so small, the base is so small, I kind of have to, like, you know, yank it through. Okay, so that's how I normally do it. But let me get this out the way. Sometimes you can't find the split. Sometimes you just can't find the split and you just don't remember if you ended. You don't remember which way you ended, right? So let's say for this one, we just can't find the split. So since I know that it's out of this way or it's out of that way, instead of me just guessing between the two, right, I can just go a way that I know I didn't go previously. So I know I didn't go down up because I never go down up. You see what I'm saying? And then since I did that, I can just continue with my regular rotation. Boom. And this is just to prevent you from getting a hole in your locks. And so I'm going to show you, once I finish, that there's no hole and it looks completely normal. I'm trying to get the camera to straighten up, okay? You see? No hole. And it still looks like I did my regular 2-point rotation. So I'm gonna do it one more time. I don't know, I was just thinking and I was like, you could just do it a way that you know. And I know I never end this direction. So it's like me automatically doing that direction will keep me from getting a hole in my lock. So we're gonna do it again. So let's pretend that I don't know which direction I ended. I felt forward, I looked for the fork, and I just can't tell, right? So, and this base is thicker as well, so I'll probably have to pull it like I had to pull the last one. So I will just start here and then just do my regular 2-point rotation. You see? And now we're gonna check to make sure. And there's absolutely no hole. Because you get holes when you go through the same direction twice. So let's say I didn't remember which direction I went the last time I interlocked my hair, and then I came back and I guessed the direction was down, but turns out the last time I interlocked my hair, that's the way I ended. So since I went down, down, I'll now have a small hole in my lock that I have to go back and fix. But this way, it keeps me from having to guess and also having a hole in my lock. So that's just something that I guess, figured out while I was just doing my hair. I'm almost done with this retie. I have one more row to go. Because some of them, sometimes you really can't tell which direction you ended. And I feel like to be on the safe side, it's better to just go a way you know for sure you didn't go. And I never end this way. So it just makes me feel better doing it that way versus doing it the other way. And I think this works well with the 2-point rotation, because usually when you do a 2-point rotation, you're only going 2 directions. And that's usually side to side and top to bottom. So if you're watching and you heard me just explain that, does that make sense? Like, does it make sense to you? Or is it just still confusing? And if you have any other questions, feel free to ask while I'm here. Because I do have a few locks with holes in them. And sometimes when I do, like, I feel for the split, like, I guess that would be top to bottom, but I also could put my hand through here, going left to right. You see? So instead of having to guess between the two, we're just gonna boom, and then just continue our regular scheduled 2-point rotation. And it's important that you use clips so you don't have to pop locks like I just had to do. But if I were using clips properly from the beginning, that wouldn't have happened. But when I get close to the finish line, sometimes I just get lazy and just do what I want to do. So I hope that made sense. I'm going to do this last one, these last two, and then that'll be it for today. But I only have this row left after this. I'm looking forward to sharing my journey soon. Can't wait. Your locks are so pretty. Love the quality ends. Thank you. And congratulations on starting your journey soon. What encouraged your decision to lock your hair? Or did you just want to experience a lock journey? See, this one is clear. I can tell that my last rotation definitely ended down. Also, thank you for responding. So we don't have to go the other way like we just did. We can just go our regularly scheduled way. Boom. 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 And done. So actually I have 2 more on this row. So for this one, it's kind of hard to tell which direction I ended, so I'm just going to use the little trick that I just did. And I'm going to go up, or under, I guess, over, down, and really I can stop right there for this one. I'm tired of being loose natural, don't want to keep breaking my hair, and I want to keep it all. Thanks for reading, no problem. I feel it. Alright, I'm about to, yeah. That is a great question, and I can actually show you pretty much like a starter kit that I think to start them. Okay, so first and foremost, for parting, you're gonna need a comb. Well, if you really care about parting. If you don't care about parting, you're not really gonna need a comb. But I was kind of precise with my parting, especially just to start them off. So I used a rat tail comb, and I used just a regular, I guess, full length comb. And you're gonna need, well, I have a 3-part mirror. The door is closed and it's on the other side of the mirror, but it's here. And if you watch my installation video, I talk about it in that video too. So I definitely would suggest you get one of those so that you can see the back of your hair. And then you're gonna need lots and lots of clips. So I like these, and I also like the smaller ones to keep everything super separate. And I would suggest getting hair ties so that you can, you know, put your hair in sections, because I work better in sections. So I section my hair before I even started my locks. What else? I think that's it. And if it's anything that I'm leaving out, it's definitely in my installation video. So if you go on my channel, it's probably one of my first or second videos on my channel, and it's very detailed, and it has everything that I use to start my journey and everything that you could use to start your journey as well. And also, good luck on your journey, ma'am. How long did you wait before you retie? So the last time I retied my hair was probably about 6 weeks ago. So I don't have a ton of new growth, which is why I have been moving super fast. But this is all the new growth I have. And I usually wait a little bit longer. No problem. I usually wait a little bit longer for my reties, but since it's my today is actually my 1-year lock anniversary. I just did lock anniversary. I just want to go ahead and freshen them up for that. But for installing, do I apply any gel or product, or does my hair have to be dry? So technically that's a personal preference. You don't have to apply anything. I blow dried my hair, and then I use some twist gel, but I use very little twist gel. Only as I was twisting down, I would like get a little bit on my fingers and twist down like that. You don't really need anything, but your hair also doesn't have to be dry. I've seen people use different like creams and things like that, but you kind of want to be, you know, kind of lenient with the amount of product, because this is going to be a permanent style. So you don't want to go in with a bunch of product on your hair, even though you can just simply wash your hair. So I think that is a personal preference. I didn't do it on completely dry hair, but I did blow dry my hair before I started, and used very little of the Merge Twist Gel. Thank you. So right now I'm using this locking gel. I actually, as you can see, I've been doing this whole thing and I haven't used any gel. So I only use that really on my sides, because on the sides my hair is very fine. Well, it's finer. It's not very fine, but it's finer than like the top of my hair. So you can tell the base is much thicker here than it is here. So here I just use a little bit of the locking gel for a little slip. Okay, so for this one, let's see if I can tell. And I try to end all of my rotations going the same direction, but sometimes it doesn't work out. Okay, no problem. No problem. So I might as well just go ahead and finish this last row with y'all. And then I'll be done for another 6 to 8 weeks. So let's see how fast I can get this done. Right now it's 4:24. 4:24. So for this retie, I'm mainly just using water. Oop. Just water. Comb the base just to separate any hairs that might be, you know. But my middle part, for the most part, my middle part stays pretty clean. Alright, so let's get started. And if I do have to twist hair, I'll take a little bit of gel. You probably can't even see any gel because that's how small of an amount that I use. And I twist that down, loop my clip, and then start interlocking. And with this retie, I'm trying to be really careful about not doing it so tight, because for my last retie, I did get tension bumps. I probably could have stopped that one during my last rotation, but for this one, I'm making sure to be very soft around my edges just to prevent breakage and uncomfortableness. Because as you can see, I can do all this without it hurting or anything. So if the base is thick, sometimes, you see, that one is kind of loop or lumpy. And I just go down. And I go over. And then down one more time. Do you think you'll ever put braids on top of your locks? Honestly, I haven't gave it much thought. Like, I'm not against it, because I've seen the like the Marley hairstyles, and where people use Marley hair instead of like regular braided hair, and I like that look better than like the when they use the braided hair. So if I ever just want to experiment, then I'm down for it. I'm not really against it. So don't forget to use your clips. Don't forget to use your clips. And also at 5:30, a video of me dyeing my hair. Look how thick this end is. It's so thick compared to majority of my locks, actually. I don't know if that's bunching or I don't know, but I don't do anything. When I see them thick like this, I usually just leave it. But what I was saying was I have a video going live at 5:30 of me dyeing my hair. So if you were interested in seeing that, then it'll be up at 5:30. Bless you. So yeah, when they have thicker bases, then you kind of have to pull or just guide it through. Versus if it was just a thin, it would be much easier going through. But it's really easy because as you can see, I can see where it's pulling from. Like I can see that it's going through a loop right here. So I can just push down, guide it through like that. So you can see that I'm not really working with a lot of new growth. Mm, I think, I don't know. I think some of them, I just did one. So let me go ahead and do this because sometimes I forget which direction I just went. And then I'm gonna answer your question. Okay, so for the thickness, it's only with certain locks because you see this one is it's not as thick as the other one. This one is not as thick as the other one, but some of them are thicker. Like they bulge out here, and I don't really, and I would say I would agree to that if they all did that, but they don't all do that. So I think it's a separate reason besides me just starting them with two strand twists, if that makes sense. So I don't think it's solely because I started them with two strand twists, because I started all my locks with two strand twists. but some of them are very much like thicker at the roots. And I'm noticing that it's really this row right here, because majority of them on this row. Yeah, that's actually kind of weird. This one isn't as thick as the others, and this one kind of is. But I also think it's because with these, the parts are kind of bigger. Like, they're longer than, let's say, a part in the back that I could show you, but I don't feel like showing. I don't feel like turning around. Okay, so let me find one that doesn't really have a thick base. This one. Look at like the size of this part compared to the size of this part. Like the square is much bigger. And I don't really know if that has anything to do with it, but that is a difference that I've noticed. The ones with the thick ends usually have bigger bases. So I can already tell that we might have to pull this one a little bit. I think we're down to the last two. Did you start with a bit of 3-strand braiding at the bottom, then continue down with 2 strands? Because I'm struggling to decide how to start. I feel like they'll be loose if I fully twist. So I did fully twist from top to bottom, but then I immediately went in and I did interlocking the next day after I finished installing all my twists. So they were, I feel like doing it the way I did it is if you only do it that way if you're so sure that you're you're sure of the size of parts, and you're sure of how many locks you have. I would suggest that you do wait like a few days, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe even a week, to make sure that you're fully satisfied with the size of your locks, the size of your parting, and everything. But for me, once I installed my twists, I already knew. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm good with this. And I wouldn't want to, because once you interlock, it's harder to take them out. But if you just have twists, then it's easier for you to just undo the twist and then redo your locks. So that's why I would suggest waiting maybe a few days or 2. And I have seen people start with the braided route, but I feel like for me it was pointless because I knew I was going to interlock like immediately after. So I think that makes sense if you're not interlocking immediately after you start your locks. No problem. Currently about to do micro locks for myself. Pray for you. Pray for me. You got this. If I can do it, you can do it too. You got it. Just take your time. Don't rush. And just let it be. I think before you start, you overthink a lot of stuff. You overthink it a lot, but it's really simple. And there's not really much to it, just to do it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. And giving myself 3 days so I can do it right the first time. That's right. And I would definitely suggest you section your hair first. So when I say section, I literally mean like part every row. If you watch my install video, you'll see that I parted every row and then parted every like individual twist on each row before I started locking. So 3 days is definitely enough time for you to really get to it and focus. because you have to set a good foundation if you're really gonna keep your locks forever. That last pull to really be such a relief. Let me make sure, because sometimes I be missing something. I didn't leave out as much edges this time, but I left out some. But I am so glad that that process is finally over. I have 260. I actually want to count them again just because before I found my locks, I thought I had more than 300 locks for some reason. And then I was like, 260? And so I just want to make sure that number is correct. Even though well, yeah, I just want to make sure that number is correct. But I don't know if I'll ever do that. I think some of my twists are too small, so I have to redo. Yeah, so as long as you're, keep doing it until you're satisfied. And I would suggest that with the locks on the perimeter, if you are thinking about starting your locks, make them wider in width. You see? Compared to this right here, this one is longer. And that way it gives the lock a better surface area and it decreases the chances of it causing so much tension to where it falls out and it constantly pulls on your edges. And I did that for literally all of mine in the front. So don't try to make the ones in the front so small. No problem. Don't try to make the ones in the front so small that, so that, because either way, your hair in the front is going to be more fine than your hair in the back. So even if, as you can see, the part is bigger than this part, but they're essentially the same size lock. So it's not even technically a big size difference, and it just helps you because you have a bigger surface area here for this lock to hang on to. Versus if this were two locks, I don't think the base would be sturdy enough to eventually carry a fully mature lock, because you have to remember, yes, we're starting off with twists, but eventually they're going to be mature and they're going to be heavier than they are now. Let's see, any more things that I've learned since when I retyped my hair today? Why do you think you have to do them over? And how far in are you? Not that that matters, I'm just curious. Anything else that I've learned? No. I mean, if I do think of anything, I will make a separate video, but I don't think I have anything else now. And I did have to go in and let me see if I can show y'all. Hopefully you can see. So let me find it. I think it's one of these. One of the locks in the back, it was a problem lock, so it kept slipping out. So instead of me continuously, because at first I was just going in and keep retwisting it and interlocking the root. So I was like, instead of me doing that, I'm just going to interlock from the top. I wish I could see which one it was. Oh, it's this one. So it's this one is completely interlocked from the top to about right here. So you know how when people start sister locks, it's them interlocking from top to bottom. So that's how I went in and I did that lock so that I wouldn't continuously have to go in and keep twisting it. So I would say that if you are experiencing a lock that, and even on the sides, if you are experiencing a lock that just continuously comes unraveled, then consider interlocking it from top to bottom. And I know it doesn't take long, depending on how much hair you have. It's really not a long process. It's just you doing 2-point rotation from here to here. And you do have to have like a knot in your lock in order for that to stay. I'm about 8 months in and they're not wide enough in the front. Got you. Or you could combine, depending on how big, your second lock is, you could combine your first 2 locks. I've seen people do that too. I've seen people do that too. And I have to go in and moisture my hair. Because some of my ends, as you can see, a lot of my ends are still curly. But some of them have no curl at all. Like this one. And like some in the back right here. This one has like a little ball on it. So I think it's like beginning to close. And this one has a little ball on it. So it's beginning to close. So should I lock the bottom or just twist this normal so the twist will unravel? I would suggest you first just twisting, because I didn't have that problem with all of my locks. It was just the ones that were very, very small in the back. So I would suggest that you do your perimeter, like that very back row, and then maybe these on the side. You can do them that way as far as interlocking from top to bottom, but you shouldn't have to do it for the majority of your locks. I only did that for a few that were giving me problems. And this one, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and, well, I'm twisting it now, but eventually I think I'll just have to interlock this one to keep it from unraveling. Yes? Okay. Right now? All right, here I come. But yeah, so that's all that I have for you today. Hopefully this video was helpful. And if you have any more questions, leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. Thank you guys for joining. Peace.